what GLP-1 does. And you must remember now that GLP-1 is just at the beginning of a fantastic exploding trajectory. So the first version of GLP-1s were just targeting one receptor. So the ones that we see now, they're targeting 3 receptors, and I don't see it stopping there, right? So what we see is this Swiss Army knife of attacking what's called the metabolic syndrome, which is not just obesity, it's diabetes, it's certain types of cancers, it's psoriasis, sleep apnea, cardiovascular diseases, what have you. So for the healthcare sector out there, this is the magic pill that they can bring to people and radically lower their overall cost for handling all the other things, not just obesity. And so which means that the food sector might see this as an obesity pill and analyze it as such, but the fact is that they would be more effective through the back door by people taking this for other reasons. And when I look at this, it's like, yeah, do invest in the healthy stuff for the future, because you don't want to be stuck with things that are reminiscence of snacks or sugary drinks or even alcohol. And when you look at what's happening in other places where people take these pills, there's a study recently made by the Cornell University in the US. They realized, okay, so alcohol consumption goes down 62% amongst those people who have this. In families where one person is on these pills, that's going to constitute, in a few years' time, 35% of all the food spend, which means that one person can affect the food spend of an entire family in the direction of supporting the GLP drugs, right? Which means that it's not just about the person taking it, it's about the person's family and their wider ecosystem. So this is going to be a far, far greater impact on the food sector than the food sector believes. And right now, you know, what they're doing is that, yeah, smaller portion sizes, increased branding spend, and we'll just, keep them at bay. But they won't be able to do that. They will just be steamrolled by this development.
But you mentioned smaller portion sizes. We see that in the US that restaurant chefs have to really adjust their different menus, and we got them new kind of menu appearing where either you're getting the regular one or more like appetizer, fancy menu for someone who does not eat that much anymore to kind of reduce food waste. I would like then to jump into innovation part of it, and Giancarlo, you. Have you noticed any changes when it comes to founders and startups working in the food sector and their positioning? Because we do keep seeing right now marketing campaigns that were more like, oh, we're GLP friendly, we're low sugar, we're protein full, etc. So marketing is really rolling full on. What are you seeing right now in the startups?
So I think that the GLP-1 entrance in the market was a market catalyzer because the wellness trend was there since many years and will be there over other years. Whether we don't know whether the GLP-1 will be a high or it's going to stay there. I think it's going to stay there. I agree with you, Johan, but. Probably, but what was going on before the GLP-1 era, it's going on at a faster pace. So that's what's happening. In the supplement space, it's funny because microbiome products, so prebiotic, postbiotic, everyone are trying to demonstrate that they have some kind of GLP-1 effect. If you see the protein products, protein drinks, they are starting to demonstrate that they have to. So everyone is running. In Italy, we are soccer fans, so we say all the players are running after the same ball, which is not gonna stay for longer because then we will have some kind of market normalization. So we have this strong acceleration for now for certain kinds of categories, and we have a reduction in some others. But there are many other factors that we need to consider. One is price. The other one is climate change that is changing the offer. The third one is volatility of raw materials, and cocoa went up to the roof a couple of years ago. Now it's going down again, and the consumption of chocolate will be affected by those factors. So GLP-1, it's not only the only factor affected. The cultural factors are super important. So it's a very complex world, and of course, GLP-1 is disruptive in the market, will be disruptive in the market, but many factors can pop up suddenly that can change the direction in an unexpected way.
I can see how.
Yeah. No. I think we need to drill a bit in the economic aspects of it. First of all, why are the drugs so expensive? Because of the patents, right? They're not expensive to produce. They're expensive because they can charge, right? So if you look at places where patents have expired or about to expire, and we can have generic instead, such places as such tiny little markets as India, China, Brazil. So there you have pills coming to the market, and you see treatment costs like $5 a month. And these are countries that have been fast growing when it comes to fast food, for instance, snacks. And with the population of a couple of billion people getting on these drugs, that's going to affect these big fast food brands out there. Now, let's go to an interesting take here. So, in financials, your assets are valued based on the cash flow they can provide. So if you have a factory manufacturing cookies, and the cash flow says, not as good cash flow anymore, then your accountant will step in and say, perhaps we need a pretty significant write-down here. And then you need to answer up with your own capital. And if you don't have that, you'll probably go out of business because you won't be able to raise capital because you have a bad cash flow. So you will die over the balance sheet, not the profit and loss account. And that goes far, far faster.
Thank you for the comments. I actually want to, okay, 1, 2, 3. I wanted to move to this financial part as well, and especially you, Matteo, when you're hearing right now, obviously the paradox. 1, 2, 3. Maybe I can use your mic. Okay.
No worry.
We're gonna share the mic, right? This one is out of service for today. You know, it's almost Friday, guys, so we don't be angry on the microphones. Talking about the changes right now, what you were mentioning, consumption patterns are changing, right? And right now we're at the food trade show where everything is about the consumption, the volumes, about the regular supply chains. But if the consumption patterns are changing, which is a bit paradoxical that the US is going away from fast food and we have fast food unfortunately coming to Italy. But how do you see it being affected, your work and the whole processes you have established so far?
First of all, I do see this, for what I do, as a major opportunity. Because all what Johan and Giancarlo just said has been in the last years, unfortunately, the most boring marketing for brands. So marketing related to obesity, marketing related to cancer, marketing related to whatever. So we provide healthy food to avoid you being obese or whatever. That was always the most boring, unfortunately, marketing. Because people want to see the positive marketing and run away from the, oh, we're saving you from something. I do see this as the biggest marketing material for what I do. So trying to invest and develop companies that provide a balanced, biological, and true diet, because that's what I really do, compared to the easy marketing of all the other brands. So first of all, it's a massive opportunity if this really spreads out as fast as I'm hearing. Again, it's a long run, so I don't see any immediate changes that we could potentially do, because as Johan said, okay, or as you said before, the smaller portions or whatever, yeah, these are quick fixes, but as a long run, I do think that we need to investigate deeply on the effects of this. So starting to consider the Cornell University analysis on alcohol use, or any other analysis that are gonna, I guess, start and kick off an increase in the coming years related to how consumptions move when under GLP-1. And I guess that's going to drive our future changes. But if you stick to something that kicks off naturally as healthy, biological, kilometer zero, so something that you really don't move, because again, Giancarlo was talking about environment as well. That's a movement that started 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and it's going to continue. So if you mix and match all that together, I guess you're going to have the replies for the industry that, again, in Italy moves. It's one of the biggest industries in general, the restaurants. I guess you're going to have the replies. But if you start now with companies that today are naturally driven by that, you're really starting off well. If you're trying to pivot McDonald's or other brands that start off the opposite, that's very tough. So what I would do personally as an investor, as an F&B operator today, is just avoid something that needs a massive pivot in order to work, and actually invest on something that is boring to be GLP-1 compliant, which is not really